this episode of Kamloops Last Week, Fraser Minten and Drew Englot of the Kamloops Blazers. We also hear from the Englot parents, Clint and Wendy, live on tape from a tractor in Candiac, Saskatchewan, and Foulderdash. Co-host Chris Foulds goes nuts on Twitter again. And we welcome a brand new sponsor on board, Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center.
Live! But we're also on tape. We are deep down in the bowels of Lee's music. Chris Foulds, Marty Hastings, Greg the engineer. Still hasn't apologized for missing our birthday last week. Greg, no apology coming, I guess. Magic Mike's got a haircut. He looks really good. I'll take a pic right now, then I'll flash it up on the screen later. And Bonnie, I can't see her, but she looks good too. Foulds, it's a barren-looking desk today. We should do something about that. Mascot. We could use a show mascot. Any ideas? What would be a good mascot for us?
An eagle.
An eagle.
Dave Eagles.
Just came up. Yeah, like an eagle, and it's holding a newspaper, and it's Eagle Eye News mascot. Eggy the Eagle.
So that's a little out there. We could just bring Dave Eagles. Bring Dave Eagles here and sit him down. The reason it's barren is because we have a brand new title sponsor. It's Gord's, so we're going to alternate weeks. A co-title sponsor between New Leaf and Gord's. Today it's Gord's. Next week some kind of product placement, but we don't this week. How you doing?
Good.
For Gord, what you should do is you should get one of their talking fridges. If you've seen that commercial.
That's the brand new CFJC commercial.
Yeah.
So
looks really good.
You brought up. I brought up Long and McQuaid. Now you're bringing up CFJC, stabbing us.
There you go.
Yeah, that is neat though. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, good. Everything's good. Yep.
Mount St. Helens.
I thought we should talk about this because we're filming this week's show on a Thursday. We normally film on a Wednesday, and had we filmed Wednesday yesterday, which is May 18th, we would have been filming on a day coinciding with the 42nd anniversary of this amazing eruption. Most people remember where they were if they were a certain vintage. I was 11. I was in grade 6 when this happened. I remember clearly when it happened, 8:32 a.m.
Which year?
1980.
80.
Yeah. Now, where were you when this thing erupted?
I wasn't born until 1984.
I think you were probably a couple of grades before me. But anyway, it's very interesting because it was the largest eruption in the U.S. recorded history, and it created the largest landslide in human recorded history. And the explosion itself was equal to 150 Hiroshima bombs. I mean, it was amazing. 57 people died. The entire mountain, 3,000 feet of it just got lost.
Okay, let's move on. It's a volcanic show today, a powerful, explosive show, I think, and it doesn't happen without our brand new co-title sponsor, Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. It's owned by Steve Rogers, not Gord anymore. Is a new owner. Yep. New owner, Steve and his dad, Tim. It's 948 Tranquille. Refrigerators, freezers, microwaves, ovens, laundry machines, you name it, they'll sell it. But did you know this? They also fix appliances. Don't want the 9-hour cycle, please! Freaking $500 hydro bill piece of trash. I need to speak to Gord on the Niner!
Hey, no, I'm actually Steve, the new owner.
First things first, pal, you should probably update your sign. Number 2, my dishwasher is tangled again. The 9-hour cycle, hydro bill through the roof. You guys don't fix appliances, I know that, so I need a new one.
We actually do fix appliances, but if you want, I can try some new ones first and have a look. You got a price in mind?
Money is not an obstacle for me.
Money's definitely an obstacle. He's the cheapest guy in Kamloops. Ain't that right, Darby?
Well, this here is going to be your Cadillac model, top of the line. This is our middle-of-the-road dishwasher, just a great dishwasher at a great price. This is our budget-friendly model, still a great dishwasher, just at a bit of a lower price.
Price doesn't work for me. Let's see if you can fix mine at home.
Alrighty then. There you go. Seems to be good. How's the fridge working?
The fridge is fine, Gord.
It's Steve.
Your dog was in the commercial. Any review?
Yeah, she liked it too. She's trying to get onto the stage, but I don't think she has the chops yet to be on the stage. But she did well on the couch there.
Yeah, Macy also Jessica's dog, Western Canada Theatre.
Toto. Jessica says when you go in the background, you realize how much work goes into it.
Yeah, Jessica, by the way, coming off double gold.
Double gold at the Mont Murray newspaper awards. She won two first place awards at the BC Yukon Community News Media Association Awards this past weekend, and Dave Eagles won third place for a photo.
Okay, let's hear from Jessica right now in the Last Week Clique, which will lead right into Above the Folds.
So I have a little news hound with me today. This is Macy. Say hi, Macy. I wanted to talk about Macy and bring her on the show today because my husband Jeremy and I are involved in the Western Canada Theatre production of The Wizard of Oz. Our dog Macy is actually in the play as Toto. And I wanted to talk about this because it was a unique opportunity for me to see how they operate behind the scenes. And I just wanted to give them a bit of a shout out because it is a well-oiled machine. There's so much that goes into these plays. They work their butts off. The amount of crew members you don't see behind the scenes who are making all those magical moments like flying and pyrotechnics happen. It's really impressive to see what they can do. And it's also provided a bit of a unique opportunity to reconnect in a way to something in the community after the pandemic. And for anybody who's been feeling isolated, you know, we've been working from home for a long time, staring at screens, I highly recommend getting involved in something in your community. You know, the Blazers are on a run right now. Go see a Blazer game, all that. Connect with something in person in your community. And you'd be surprised how much fun it can be. My family's kind of gotten on board, and my mom made these Toto stickers, handing them out to kids and just, you know, being amongst the people again.
Tell us what we're looking at.
This is I find this fascinating. This is a heat impact map that Interior Health has created in preparation for this summer. And they also have a map. So this map it shows the vulnerability, three things. It shows the areas of Kamloops most impacted when we had that really bad heat, like last year, the heat dome. The darker the red, the more impact it would have based on physical buildings, physical topography, also based on socioeconomic factors.
Okay.
If you're more well off, you're going to have the means to have air conditioning, the means to leave the city, the means to deal with the heat. If you're poor, or if you're, let's say, a senior living in an apartment with not great air conditioning, you're going to be impacted more. If you don't have the funds to maybe go somewhere, go to the pool, leave the country, have really good air conditioning, you're going to be impacted more. The darker the red, the more impact the heat will have on you from various factors. So the darker red, you're in a worse position. The lighter it is, you're in a better position to handle the heat. They have a map for this is heat. They have one for cold. They have one for smoke.
So these are those.
So these areas are they're going to have a tougher times. North Shore. This is the Kamloops Reserve here.
You've probably got like a light green up in your bachelor dream world house.
Well, this is and this is coming up to Aberdeen here. So you see, obviously it makes sense because Aberdeen's not going to be as hot as down here, and Aberdeen generally is more affluent area. And they have this for cold, they have this for smoke, and they have this for flooding. Flooding would be different because, of course, when you're up in Aberdeen, you have to worry about flooding. But it's really, really interesting in that it looks at all sorts. We have a story in the paper. We have a story online at kamloopsthisweek.com and in the paper on the May 18th edition. And Dr. Sue Pollock, who's the interim chief medical health officer for Interior Health, she spoke with reporter Sean Brady and explained what they're doing, what it means. We tried to get her on the show, but she's super busy, which is fine. But the story's interesting. I just find it really interesting, and I find it neat that they are being proactive in light of what we've gone through in the last couple of years, rather than just being always reactive. Because climate change is here, and some people, and I agree, we can't do much about it no matter how much climate action plans you do. What we need to work on is mitigating it, preparing for it. I think we've gone over the tipping edge. It's pointless to try to do things to stop it. I really do think that. But we can do stuff like this to anticipate it.
Yeah, I kind of think about where I live. You know where I live there.
You're up in Sahali, so you'd be in the pink here.
Right, but it's like Peterson Creek's right across the road.
Yes.
I mean, if there's a fire that sparks up in there, and I'm glad our old wood siding is gone, because that would have
you and Clouston together.
Sean Clouston. But stuff like that. I mean, there could be things done to mitigate that.
Well, and there is, and that's why we had a Fire Smart conference in town last week, and I sent Michael Potestio there, and it was fascinating to talk about. They talked about how to something as sounds as mundane, but it's really important, how to fire smart your home, and they talked about the Lytton fire and how the flames didn't destroy the town. It was the embers jumping everywhere, which people forget. It wasn't an inferno, it was embers dropping everywhere.
Where you're Valley View, right?
Yeah, Valley View, right by the high school.
Right by the high school, so he would be not in a high danger.
Well, he'd be in the pink. He would be in the pink down here.
But embers come down off a fire here.
But there's the hills above you, but they're not super treed, right?
They're not treed, but when that fire came out July 1st last year, it was really scary. It moved very quickly.
Yes.
And we were right on the edge of the evacuation orders.
Go online to CamloopsThisWeek.com. There's a link where you can look at all these maps and you can dive into what they mean. I find them fascinating, and I think it's important stuff.
Where's the Sandman Center on here?
That would be down right in here, I think.
It's a hot spot right now for a different reason. The Kamloops Blazers are red hot, and we're going to meet two of them in our next segment, the Title of Hastings. Fraser, you ended up at Long and McQuaid this morning. I hate to pump another music store here, but you went to, what happened there?
Well, I just heard we were meeting at the music store, and I'd been there to check out some guitars earlier with Seminoff from our team, so ended up down there.
Mike, any thoughts on that?
I don't like it.
We got a cool contrast this morning. Fraser, you're from Yaletown. Drew, you're from Candiac, Saskatchewan. So different upbringings, different games. Drew, let's start with you. How do you think your upbringing affects the way you play the game?
Obviously, you had an interview with my parents. I'm just a hardworking farm boy, right? So I grew up just with hard work, basically, and I worked my way up here with this strictly just putting my nose down and just going to work. And I don't complain about anything. If someone tells me to do something, I'll do it, right? So I think being raised on the farm and having that work ethic has brought me to kind of where I am today.
Yeah, Fraser, I think at the trade deadline, I know when I heard Luke Toporowski's name, I'm like, okay, this is the big ticket of the trade, and he's been great. But Drew, he's done a lot for this team. What do you think of what he's done for the club so far?
Yeah, I think he's been awesome acquisition, super valuable guy to our team. Obviously, he's playing huge minutes for us now and kind of all the situations and having a big impact. And I think he's perfect fit for kind of complementing some of the skill that we've got in our team.
And you mentioned the farm boy thing. You brought that up with me in our first interview, and wrong guy to do that with. I've run with it and kind of ran with the stereotype. But I asked your parents about it yesterday. Well, they zoomed in from a tractor from the middle of a farmer's field in Candiac, Saskatchewan.
Oh, can you hear us?
Where are you right now?
I am in the tractor.
You are literally in the tractor. This couldn't be any better.
He's a typical farm boy. He loves driving tractors, trucks. It's maybe we're not an animal farm, but just driving tractors, grain trucks, working in the dirt. He's watching the stuff grow. When he's out here, he just loves doing it.
Wendy, what do you make of the rough stuff, the fighting? He dropped the gloves. When you see that, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's just all part of the game. Just hopefully he comes out on the winning end of it. That's all.
Well, the trade was, we thought it was fantastic just to get the opportunity for a prairie boy to go see the other side of the mountains. I said, just to go experience BC, and that stuff has been great. And we thought Drew would fit in well there. He's always been kind of typically, we call him a third line role guy that can chip in with some points, but just play very good defensively. And he's wasn't much of a fighter, but he's fought a few times here. But just this physical aspect of the game and hard work. It's just if you're going in the corner, he's going in with you. He'll do anything he can to come up with that puck. So.
All right, Wendy, any message for Drew that we can pass along on Thursday morning?
Just go hard, win these next two games, get them while they're a little bit tired, and hopefully bring it home after their two games wherever they are down in the States.
Get her done. I'll be watching from the tractor here and cheering loud, so out in Candiac.
Thanks a lot. I love the fact that it was perfect.
Well, the way our internet is out here at the farm, our cell phones are about as good as it gets, and we'll do it right from the tractor. Drew will get a kick out of that.
On the highest hill in the field.
Yeah, we're parked on a great big hill, so we get good cell service.
I wasn't sure. I mean, it could have gone the other way. Like, we don't. Here's this city slicker reporter calling our son a farm boy, and we're going to have a word with him on the call. But I'm glad you're cool. And they just seem like great people. What do they mean to you?
They've obviously done a lot for me, even not just like my hockey career, just being raised obviously on the farm. Like, I feel like I'm well raised, and they teach you life skills. Not just being on farming, but everyday people skills that you can use, right? And they were raised well too as well. So they mean everything to me, and they've gotten me where I am today.
What about the rough stuff? I asked your mom about it. She said, "Hey, it's part of the game." The fighting, and you've been in the thick of the battle here. Like, how's your body? How are you holding up? And how tough has the playoffs been on you so far?
The playoffs, they started off. I mean, I had to kind of maybe take it down a notch. I kind of, with being in playoffs, I kind of got a little out there a little bit too much, and so I got to kind of bring it down. Stay on that edge level a little bit.
Was that by the coaches told you got to rein it in a little bit?
A little bit. It was kind of more of me too. I kind of got into a lot of scraps and kind of getting a lot more penalties. I was in the penalty box for most of the first series, I felt like, so I kind of had to play on the edge, but yet stay disciplined as well. And but obviously the playoffs have been pretty good for me right now. Obviously the body takes a little bit of a toll, but with the recovery every day, every time I get a game, my body's feeling good.
Chris?
Just wondering, both of you guys, you just found out 2 days ago, we were talking beforehand, who you're going to play in the second round, and it's going to be Seattle rather than Portland. Some say it was a slight upset, but very, very good teams. What's your thoughts on Seattle and how are you going to do?
I can jump in here. Yeah, I think Seattle's a really good team. I think they didn't have, obviously they finished 5th in our conference, so they didn't have a great regular season, but I think they ended the regular season really strong, especially after the trade deadline. They got some key pieces, good goal-scoring 20-year-olds who's been really good for them, and I think they're a good, hard-working team. Like, they play physical.
I think Keener said that they're built for the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. They play really together. They got good structure. They work really hard, and they don't really give up, as you saw against Portland. They were down 3-1 and won 3 straight, so I think it'll be a really good test for us.
You mentioned Keen there. Keen likes to say on Twitter that you have alligator blood. Like, you handle pressure really well, like kind of this ice-cold mentality when you're on the ice. Where does that come from?
I'm not sure. I like to compete. I like to win, so I feel confident in those moments. I don't really see them as being pressure moments. I see them as just fun and being out there playing hockey.
The shorthanded goal in Vancouver, that's kind of that type of scenario, because you had forever to think about what you were going to do on that breakaway, and sometimes that can be too long. So how did you told me right away you knew what you were going to do.
Yeah, I don't really overthink things on the ice. I go with my gut and go with what I feel right off the bat, and there I was, like I told you when we did an interview like last week, like the book on Vancouver's goalie was high glove, and so made a move to the backhand and tried to put it up high glove.
I had been waiting all season to use this kind of piano man lead, because you're a good piano player. You told me you're rusty. But after the game I asked you, are there any similarities between playing piano and playing hockey, and you had a really interesting answer. I'm not sure if anything directly relates, but maybe it will unlock some neurological pathways that help out on the ice. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just a little lost for words there. I wasn't sure exactly how it would make me a better hockey player directly, but maybe like help with being a bit creative or unlock kind of that kind of part of your mind. Maybe help with like, I don't know, some mind-muscle coordination a little bit. Obviously, you got a lot going on pretty quickly when you're playing the piano, which is kind of similar to hockey when you're out there. So I think it maybe not directly contribute to anything, but definitely doesn't hurt.
I don't know if your mom told you, but I reached out to her to do an interview with her. They're really sick right now. But she sent me a video of you in Canmore, in the middle of Canmore, like an outdoor lake. She said that's something you really enjoy.
I think that's really cool for me. Like, for a guy like Drew, maybe that's more common to be outdoors and skating, but for me it's like once or twice a year if I'm lucky, and usually got to drive a few hours to go get somewhere to skate outside. So I really like that kind of vintage feel of the game of hockey, just being outside and in the backyard rink kind of feel. So
Ponds don't freeze in Yaletown.
no,
Have you ever driven a tractor before?
no.
Have you been to the Yaletown keg before?
I have not, no.
So they're even. There you go. But I bet you some of that meat of the cake comes from the farm. There you go. There's a connection there.
I have a question.
Oh,
Okay.
If you weren't playing sports, what, obviously piano, is there a musical instrument you'd want to play?
I got a guitar right now. I'm pretty rusty at it, so.
Nice.
boy.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right. I just had to ask that.
Yeah.
all right. Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Standards and expectations. We do have very, very high standards. We teach the basic principles, how to, why it's important to be on time, why it's important to take care of the tasks that you're given, and in a timely manner.
You don't, and there are some customers who might not be the easiest to deal with. I mean, what does that teach about how you can handle people that maybe aren't all that kind?
Well, there we do have our fair share, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, people are great. But it teaches them how a little bit of conflict management.
What's it like watching somebody come into the door green and shy and blossom into someone who's confident?
You know what? You just see that smile on their face. It's that sense of like, yes, I got this. I love it. That's my favorite part of it, when the kids actually get it. And you're just like, wow, I'm really counting on you today. Who'd have thought?
Mike, one of them plays guitar. Did you sell him a guitar on the way out the door?
Absolutely. I invited them back for a guitar factory tour, and I told them if they dawdled too much, they'd have to start building some guitars with me.
Did you actually say that to them?
Absolutely did. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, let's move on to a new smash hit segment, Folder Dash.
Folder Dash?
Folder Dash?
Folder Dash.
Folder Dash?
Folder Dash.
Folder Dash?
Folder Dash?
Did you see how the Bush League, the video, did you see the video that it actually made for it? It's
No,
bad. It's
I
bad.
gotta watch it.
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, so we can flip over. All right, so this is a segment where we surprise Chris Foulds with some of his social media activity throughout the week. I'm loving this segment. Okay, he has no idea what I've been kind of sneaking around to find. So Paul Bissonnette, okay,
Paul
hockey
Bissonnette,
player.
yes.
He defended himself on Twitter. People were chirping him, and he said something like, "It's like you all share one brain." And swoops in Fouldsy. Okay, here comes Fouldsy. He says, "Based on your tiresome sophomoric frat boy attempts at humor, it's debatable what exactly is between your ears. Yawn."
Okay, I'll preface this by saying that Paul Bissonnette, I don't know who he is. He used to be a goon in the NHL, and he's made a really good post-career move by he's co-hosting Spittin' Chicklets podcast, and he does a bunch of other stuff. And he did this one really, really funny thing with the Vancouver lacrosse team. The Warriors, where he was attempting to try out for them. And it was much like your Martyr the Porter thing, where he was self-deprecating. He was making fun of himself. He came in there thinking he's the greatest. He's playing a character. It was very, very funny. I think he's very, very funny there. But when he does this Spittin' Chicklets podcast with them, my brother got me to listen to a couple of them. I can't get through any of them because it's just like frat boy humor where they're talking about just dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking you have to be this, super high-minded stuff, but they talk about, it can be misogynistic. They talk about women in certain ways. They talk about, do you remember the time I shit my pants on the bus? I mean, that might, maybe there is a huge following for that.
Yeah.
I just find it to be it's just so base.
Yeah.
And some of it's offensive to a lot of people. In fact, some players in the NHL were told not to go on the show because of they had some stuff. So anyway, I don't listen to it. I've listened to a couple of them. I don't follow him. But then he's on there he's trolling and he's getting people on there. And I just thought it would be funny to see.
Ripped him.
I wanted to see if he was going to reply to me because he's replying to everyone else because he's going after the Rangers and stuff like that.
So you were just trolling him?
I was trolling the
You're
troll.
down on his level.
And I didn't catch anything. I failed.
Fold scolding.
There you go.
And there's one more example of it that I found. So a fellow named James, he saw a press release, Air Canada. It was a fake one, clearly.
Oh, yes.
But he took it hook, line, and sinker.
He's one of these...
Wait, but you hit him up. You said, "You, James M., are more gullible than a toddler. The typos in that press release are proof enough it is fake. Smarten up." So, what pissed you off about that?
Because he's part of this whole anti-vaxxing conspiracy theory, think that there's this world global elite that's trying to control us. It has something to do with vaccines, and it was completely over the top, and you could tell it was fake, and everything. It was spelling mistake. I think Air Canada was spelled mistake. It was misspelled in it, and he was trying to say, see, this is what's going to happen. This is proof that we're all going to be controlled by some lizard people who run in the United Nations, and I just get tired of that.
You could spend all day doing that, though.
I need to get off social media.
Down.
Yes, I know. And I came across it by I use Twitter for work almost exclusively. I'm retweeting a lot of our stuff. But then as you do that, you'll see things come up, and you'll see something, and sometimes you always tell yourself, "Oh, don't respond. It's not even. What's the point?" But you get, it's like what's his name, Drew. You gotta bring yourself down, but sometimes you just
can't get in the sin bin.
You can't control
yourself.
Stay out of the penalty box. You're in the social media sin bin, and you can't help it and that's why it's so successful, because it can just draw in even the most resolute person to do something, and you're like and you can't untweet, so you got to be careful with what you tweet.
You do.
Right? Yeah.
Let's wrap the show here. Mascot. I have an idea for the mascot. So we had Jenna Kansky. Remember the student? I went and she makes a bunch of mascots for Juniper.
Yeah, the
Ridge.
puppet. She has Puppet Corner up in Juniper.
In Juniper. Mm-hmm. So Jenna, I'm not trying to force your hand here, but if you want to, maybe we can give her some like GCs or something from our paper.
Yeah, we can give her. We could pay her something if she wants to make us a mascot that sort of maybe represents this.
We can dig something up from Lee's Music here as a gift. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It'd be nice if the mascot was tall enough that I could fit into it.
That would be actually amazing.
That'd be dangerous.
Yeah, some weird parties you'd be going to in that. Okay.
Yeah.
Jenna Kansky, just putting it out there. If you want to make us a mascot that would fit here, that we could kind of make, throw around a little bit.
Very good idea. And we're shopping local.
Shopping local, encouraging the local youth. Mm-hmm. Greg, Mike, Bonnie, thanks again for a great job today on the show. Greg, you've kind of sat there the whole time and you haven't apologized yet, but other than that, great job to you. Chris, any final thoughts?
No, just it's the weather's horrible, so spring has been officially canceled, I think, and so you should get out to the Blazers games on Friday night and Saturday night, because you're inside, away from the rain, and go Blazers.
Herman's just jealous because Gord's got all the spotlight today, and it is Gord's week. We can't do the show without our sponsors. We really can't. So thank you, Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center on Tranquille, for hopping on board, and to McDonald's. For Chris Foulds, I'm Marty Hastings. We'll see you last week.
Last Week.